Welcome everybody to this new webinar of the NOR webinar series. I am Federico Rondoni on behalf of the Network of Resources, an initiative from the European Space Agency, and I'm here today together with Maddalena Jesue and Massimo Orlandi, who will introduce us to the EARTHCONSOLE Platform, which is one of the different services available through the Network of Resources. This webinar is part of a new season of the NOR webinar series. It is recorded, so I want to remind all the participants that it will be possible to see again this webinar inside our portal. I will show you where at the end of the session. And together with this one, you can also see all the previous sessions that we had for the NOR webinar series with all the different services available through the Network of Resources. The Network of Resources is, as I said, an ESA initiative, and the aim is to bring users to the cloud and to data. So this is, let's say, part of the effort to allow people to directly work with data inside the cloud environment, and EARTHCONSOLE is one platform that allows you to do that. So without taking any other, let's say, minutes, I will give the floor to Maddalena, who will introduce us to EARTHCONSOLE. So please, Maddalena.
Thank you very much, Federico. Thank you for inviting us to have this webinar, to hold this webinar. Nice to meet you, everybody. My name is Maddalena Jesue. I am the Communication and Partnerships Manager at Progressive Systems, the company owning and managing the EARTHCONSOLE platform. And I'm here today with my colleague Massimo Orlandi. He's an engineer supporting Earth observation research projects at Progressive Systems and, of course, at EARTHCONSOLE. Today, we are going to introduce you to this platform. I'm going to provide you with the first overview on the services, on the support services that we provide for those of you who haven't joined us during the introductory sessions that we had last year. Then I will provide you with a demonstration of the virtual labs hosted on the platform. And then I will give the floor to my colleague Massimo, who will present one of the most recently integrated on-demand services available via the platform. And at the end, he will also give you an overview, a short demonstration of the algorithm development environment of our platform. And we will have some time for questions and answers at the end. So let's start. What is EARTHCONSOLE? So EARTHCONSOLE is the Progressive Systems cloud-based platform offering support services for the development, the prototyping, and hosting of processors provided by third parties. With third parties, I mean the users that you see in the slide. So the majority of them comes from the academic world. They are universities or research centers, but also institutions like the European Space Agency. And we have also processors provided by companies. So we offer support services that enable the access to the data and also the processing services across various thematic domains. What does it mean? It means that we are not focused on a specific environmental topic, but we are in the position to accommodate the request of different projects, be them the study of polar regions rather than, for example, the monitoring of Earth surface deformation. The platform is flexible enough to accommodate different requests independently of their applications. Which are the services that we provide? So the platform covers support services that go from the algorithm development to their exploitation and everything that is in between these two extremes. With regard to the support that we provide for the development and testing of new algorithm, we provide a service which is called GBox, which is the integrated development and execution environment of the platform. It is a virtual machine, basically, which is deployed on a Copernicus DIAS. If you don't know what a Copernicus DIAS is, DIAS stands for Data Information Access Service. They are cloud-based platform which provides access to data coming from Copernicus Sentinel's missions. So our virtual machines are deployed on a Copernicus DIAS, providing access to this data. The virtual machines comes with a set of software tools for data analysis and visualization pre-installed on the platform. Another important feature is that our virtual machines are accessible with your own device and from any location. They're accessible with command line access, remote desktop, and web access. Another important feature is the multi-user access. So, for example, in case you have a research team and you would like to code and develop your algorithm in a collaborative way, our virtual machines allow for the simultaneous access to the same development environment in a way that you can collaborate with your team members. So I don't see your face at the moment, but maybe you are wondering, okay, so nice features, but which are the specific use cases? What can I do with this kind of environment? For example, in case you have your team and you need to prototype your own algorithm for your research project, but you don't have the time to download Earth observation data locally, it's too time consuming, this activity is too resources consuming, then you can resort to the Gbox service. Because as I mentioned, the virtual machine comes with a direct access to the data and allows a multi-user access. Or another example, your algorithm is ready, but you need to run it on a large prepared dataset to create a neural network model. However, managing this task locally, again, is too time consuming or resources consuming for you. You can resort to our virtual machines because we are in the position to prepare the dataset that you need, and you can then upload your algorithm and do your kind of processing activity on the virtual machine. Another example of use case, for example, in case you are a university professor and you are considering the possibility of conducting a practical training course for your university students to teach them the most important techniques to process Sentinel data, and you are looking for a solution which enables to offer different environments with an identical setup, this is still possible via our virtual machines, because they enable the possibility of a bulk configuration of different environment with the same settings, so that your students can access them with their own device and from wherever they are, and do their exercises for your course. This is for the development part. Let's now go to the integration part. So in this case, you have a mature algorithm, an algorithm that you have already tested, but you would like to benefit from the computing resources of the platform. So you would like to take benefit of the parallel processing environment of the platform. So in this case, the platform is flexible enough to enable the integration of any topology of processor, also coming from other platforms. In addition to the integration into the parallel processing environment, we also offer the possibility to develop a dedicated user graphical interface for your processor, which would enable the research community, this means the users of the platform, to access your processor as a web service through this graphical user interface. And another important feature that is worth mentioning is that the integration will be completely managed by us, by our experts. So the majority of the burden will be on us. Of course, the integration has to be considered as a collaborative process. This means that you, as algorithm owner, will have to provide the necessary documentation, the software, and will have to validate the processing results once the integration is completed. But again, the burden will be mainly on us. Which is the specific use case? When can you resort to the application integration service? For example, you have a mature algorithm, but for your specific research project, you would like to scale up the processing in order to cover a larger geographical area and a longer time period. But at your own university, at your own research center, you don't have the processing facility to do so. In this case, you can resort to the application integration service because we can integrate your processor into our parallel processing environment. Or another example, you have your algorithm ready and you have worked really hard on it and you would like to share your processor with the research community in order that other researchers can benefit from the work that you've done. In this case, again, you can resort to the application integration service and we can develop the graphical user interface for your processor so that you can share it as a web service to all the users of the platform. You can also share it with your team members and make it available as a web service. So there is also the possibility that you don't have the time to develop and test your algorithm, or you don't have a mature algorithm to integrate in the platform. In this case, there is the possibility for you to exploit a set of processors that have been provided by other research centers, by other universities, by other companies to perform some kind of processing activities. So in this case, you have two options. You have the parallel processing service or the parallel processing on-demand service. So with PPRO, so the parallel processing service, you can use the processor provided by other parties to perform extensive processing campaigns. This means campaigns on larger geographical areas or long time periods. In this case, the processing will be completely managed by our experts. This means that you will have to provide the requirements for your processing campaigns, tell us the geographical area, the time period, and so on. We will perform the processing for you and deliver the results once ready. In case you have to perform a processing campaigns which is more limited, for example, to a local area, we offer the PPRO on-demand service. So in this case, you can use the on-demand processing service, which are available on our platform, and you can launch processing tasks in an autonomous way. So you can do it by yourself through a very easy to use graphical user interface, thanks to which you can launch the processing. You can also monitor the progress of the processing and download the results once ready. So the main difference between the two services is that PPRO is managed by us according to your requirements, while the on-demand processing will be completely managed by you. For example, you can use PPRO or PPRO on demand in case you need to do some processing of Earth observation data for your research project, but developing your own algorithm is beyond the scope of the project, both in terms of time and resources. In this case, you can resort to these services because we have a set of processing services that are ready to be used. Just to give you an idea of the processing services that are available via our PPRO services, this is the list. I'm not going into the details of each one of them, but just to tell you, I would like to stress the fact that they serve different purposes, so different applications. They process data from different missions and from different sensors. The complete list, by the way, is also available on our website, so in case you would like to have a deeper look at them, you can find the description on our website. And my colleague Massimo later on will present a demonstration of one of these services. Specifically, it will be the SBUS for Sentinel-1 service for Earth surface deformation analysis, which is a service which was developed in collaboration with an institute of the Italian National Research Council, the CNR. Another concept that is important that I would like to deliver today is the concept of the virtual labs. So the virtual labs are virtual spaces which are hosted on the platform, which offers processing services customized on the needs of specific scientific communities. So, as I mentioned, they are customizable environments to meet the needs of specific users' community. In addition to providing processing services, they also provide tools for sharing and collaboration among users, such as an example is a forum. I will show you later on the features of the virtual lab in a demo. And they also support an open science approach because our virtual labs facilitate the dissemination of scientific knowledge, data, and resources. At the moment, the platform hosts two virtual labs, the Heritage Missions Virtual Lab and the Altimetry Virtual Lab. So these are the labs which are currently operational on our platform. But of course, in case, for example, you have a scientific community and you would like to set up a laboratory because you have some processing services that you would like to share with the community, of course, we are open to this kind of collaborations. For the moment, as I mentioned, the ones that are available are these two. They are both initiatives coming from the European Space Agency. This means that we had some ESA staff requesting the setup of this laboratory for some specific communities. So for what concerns the Heritage Missions Virtual Lab, this lab is specifically dedicated to providing processing services which supports the valorization of heritage missions data. In case you don't know, the heritage missions are non-operational Earth observation missions which have acquired data over a long time period, and these data are quite useful also for for today's scientific studies. The registration to the laboratory is free of charge via our website. I will show you in a minute where to request the membership. While for what concerns the Altimetry Virtual Lab, again, this is an ESA initiative. It provides processing services for data, synthetic aperture radar data, for Cryosat-2, Sentinel-3 and Sentinel-6 missions. And also in this case, the registration to the laboratory is free of charge by visiting our website. So I will show you now a demonstration of the Altimetry Virtual Lab so that you can have a better understanding of what it is possible to do with the laboratory. So at the moment, I am on the EARTHCONSOLE website, www.earthconsole.eu. By visiting the main menu, here you can click on Virtual Labs and Altimetry Virtual Lab. So you can click here. And you can click on Join the Lab. In case you are not yet a registered member of the laboratory, you will have first to request the free membership. Once approved, you will be able to access the environment on the platform. In this case, of course, I'm already a registered member, so I will just have to log in. So I will log in. Okay, and this is what you will see, the environment that you will have access to after the registration. So as I mentioned, you have the possibility to participate in a forum. This means that you can either have a look at the post published by other members of the lab or to participate with your own topic. This is very easy. I mean, you just have to click on topic title, type the content of your topic, and just click on submit. Once it will be submitted, it will be visible in the forum, and other users will have the possibility to interact with your topic, which can be, for example, a promotion of a conference, it can be a scientific publication to which you have contributed, anything that has to do with the altimetry community. Here, by clicking on members, you can see that the complete list of members who have joined the lab. At the moment, the altimetry community can count on, as you can see, about 130 experts, altimetry experts, which contributes to the laboratory. And you can interact with each one of them. In the activity part, you can see everything that it is going on the laboratory. So you can see, for example, who joined the laboratory. You can see if there was a new post published on the forum, and any other kind of information related to what is happening on this virtual environment. What it is important to share with you also, in the laboratory you will have access to a section which is called I Share, which is, let's say, a sharing environment where users can contribute to and access to different typology of material. For example, the data repository. So for each one of our virtual lab, we have established a dedicated dataset repository where we publish datasets which have been processed by using one of the processing services that we provide. So we publish processed datasets which are particularly relevant for the altimetry, in this case the altimetry community. This is done, of course, to avoid the duplication of data of efforts and to incentivize the reuse of the data. So by clicking here on this repository, you can access the repository and download the data that you need. So it is very simple. It is just a link where you can download the data. And here you can see, of course, the detail of the processing. The user, the service, the processing service that was used, and all the details about the processing in terms of region, coordinates, start and stop time, and for which project it was done. So this is a complete list. You can have a look. This is freely available after the registration. Another important feature is also the library. So for each one of our laboratory, we have established a dedicated library where users can access but also contribute to with their scientific publications. So for example, in the altimetry library, you can find journals and articles, but also conference presentations, manuals to use the processing service that we offer, and also some multimedia material. So you can both access, so read the scientific publication which have been made available by other users. In this case, for example, this is the part dedicated to scientific publications which have been published thanks to the use of the processing services available via the lab, and they are organized by year. So you can access them, but also in case you will be in the future a member of the laboratory and you will publish a scientific publication thanks to the use of one of the processing service, you can just let us know and we will happily make it available here on the library. And just one final mention about the knowledge base. So here we provide a set of documents in order to, and also frequently asked questions, for example, in order to guide you to the use of the services that we offer, so Gbox, PPRO, and IAP. I will conclude my presentation just by stressing the fact that so on the one side you have the registration to the laboratory. On the other, in case you would like to access the processing services that we make available via the laboratory, we invite you to request the access to the library by going on our website and clicking on Request Service. And we invite you to follow this process even though you are considering of applying to the ESA network of resources. So for example, in case you would like to perform some kind of on-demand processing, you click on Request Service, click on PPRO, request PPRO on demand, and you will have to fill in a form in which you will request some information about you and about the project. Why this is important for us? Because in this way we can assess your request and tell you which are the processing resources that you need to request this ANOR for doing the processing that you mentioned in this form. So before applying to the ESA-NOR, we strongly invite you to fill in this form, also because in this way we are also in the position to guide you and to support you in the preparation of the sponsorship form in a way that it is well prepared to be submitted to the ESA network of resources. So, and with this, I conclude my part and I will hand over the floor to my colleague Massimo, who is going to present you the on-demand platform with a demonstration of the service.
Thank you, Maddalena. Good morning, I'm Massimo Orlandi from Progressive System. I try to share my screen. Okay. Okay, today I'm pleased to introduce you the SBUS service for Sentinel-1, integrated into the EARTHCONSOLE platform and developed in collaboration with the CNR-IREATE National Research Council of Italy. The DINSAR approach called SBUS is acronym for Small Baseline Subset, is an interferometric technique that allows the generation of ground displacement maps using a multi-temporal analysis. As its name suggests, the SBUS approach relies on an appropriate combination of differential interferograms produced by data pairs characterized by a small temporal and orbital separation, in order to limit the noise phenomena affecting the interferometric phase signals. The PPRO service provides the Earth observation community with an automatic tool for improving the surface deformation analysis and thus making advances in understanding several geophysical phenomena. In fact, the SBUS approach has been successfully used for the investigation of different scenarios, such as volcanoes, tectonics, or landslides. This service performed the full SBUS in SAR chain from single-look complex level 1 data, focusing to displacement time series generation. We can see now the screen, the list of the processor integrated inside our platform. This is the SBUS for Sentinel-1 service, but is present also SBUS for Envisat included within the Heritage Mission Virtual Lab. We can access the service. First of all, we need to select the area of interest, for example, an area over Napoli. Here we can set this marker. It means that this point will be used for phase unwrapping and should be placed over an area with high coherence, for example, over urban area. Then we can select the start date, for example, May 2020 until today, for example. The direction of the orbit, and the number of a result for page, for example, 50. You can go with the search. To be performed a query to Sentinel-1 catalog. You can see the images that cover the area in that period. For SBAS, it's necessary that all the images are on the same relative orbit. We can see the number here. For example, we can select this orbit, is number 22, so we can restrict the search with this information. And run again. Okay, now all the images are on the same relative orbit. We can select the products. There are about 200 products. And we go to processor input. We can put here the name of the task. For example, test Napoli. The reference point is already set. We can select if we want to cut data over selected area of interest or not. With the submit, we can launch the processing. I'll show you the panel with the status of the task. And in the information of the task, you can see the input data, the parameter used, sorry. For this, sorry, facciamo questo. Here you can download the results. I would like to show you the result of a similar task I've already performed. The processing takes about 1 day. The results contain several files, and there is also a Google Earth file that you can open. This is a synoptic maps of ground displacement velocity. will see the area around Napoli, and in the area in green are a stable zone, while in red are highlighted subsidence phenomena. For example, is a Vesuvio volcano, and in blue are the areas where the land has arisen. For example, here is a Campi Flegrei, which are having seismic activity just these days, where the land has arisen. Okay. Now we can pass to see the other service, the second EARTHCONSOLE service that I would like to show you is the G-Box.
Massimo, sorry. In the meantime, we have a question. I don't know if you want to address it now. Is there a minimum number of images to do the SBUS process? Does it have any costs?
The minimum number is to perform correctly the multi-temporal analysis. The minimum is about 60, 70 images. So you have to take a sufficient period, about 2 years, and with less image is possible, but the analysis is less accurate. So about minimum 50, 60 images. The second question is?
It was, does it have any costs?
The cost, Maddalena told you before, you can ask for NOR sponsorship that it will cover completely the cost of the service.
Yes, if I may add, yes, I mean, you can request the sponsorship, and usually what we provide for the on-demand services, in this case the PSBUS on-demand service, is 500 processing hours to be used over a period of 6 months. So this is the standard package that we usually offer. But of course, in case you need more hours, in case you need more processing hours, this is still possible to ask for it. Of course, as long as it does not exceed the sponsorship limit that I'm sure Federico will explain to you later. But I mean, if you want us to assess your request for your specific project, we invite you to go on our website and click on the request service, so that we can better understand for which purposes you are planning to use the PSBUS for Sentinel-1 service, and we are able to provide you with an assessment of how many hours you need to perform your processing on our platform. That's it. I hope we have answered to your...
So we have other three... Okay, sorry, Maddalena. Yes, Nancy say thanks. So we have other 3 questions, but I guess we go first with the G-Box and then we take them.
Okay, we can reply.
So please, Massimo.
Okay. The G-Box is a virtual machine available in different configuration. For example, this one has 8 virtual processors, a 32 gigabyte of RAM. But it's also possible to add a GPU, for example, and can be accessed via SSH terminal or remote desktop, as in this case. Now I'm inside a virtual machine. There are various software available for processing and analyzing Earth observation data. For example, SNAP, developed by ESA, and QGIS is a powerful open source GIS. Also Anaconda and Jupyter Hub are available in the virtual machine. We can, for example, we can start SNAP, which allows to process images from the most Earth observation satellites. Let's open a subset of Sentinel-2 level 2 data over North Italy, queried over North Italy. We can open the RGB image. Okay. And here. This is the Po River, some urban area, agricultural fields. And we can quickly perform some processing, for example, extract a vegetation index used to evaluate the health status of vegetation. It's simple. We go to in this menu. We have the operator we can do on the images. For example, vegetation arithmetic indices is already present. We can put the red band is before for Sentinel-2, near infrared band, for example, 8, can run. Okay. The image is created. This is the original product. You can see all the spectral bands, Sentinel-2. This is the new bands I created with the vegetation index. And pair. RGB. Okay. The area, the pixel with the brighter are with most vigorous vegetation. This. If there is less vegetation, it's darker. Also, it's possible to create a simple binary water mask using the band math operator. We go to band math. we can go to add expression. This case, for example, watermask, see, very simple. We can use the shortwave infrared band. The value should be pressed to 0.02 reflectance, and you can see very quickly I create a watermask. This is the river and all the water bodies within the image. Also in the Gbox you can access directly the most used Earth observation dataset. It's not necessary to download them because they are already within the file system. You can find it within the EOData folder. You have Sentinel-1, Landsat, Envisat already loaded. For example, you can open Sentinel-1 products. Is the folder. You can, for example, cut the manifest product. So it's not necessary to download. I would like to finish by showing you that with Gbox it's possible to access a Jupyter Notebook in multi-user mode directly from a web browser. So I open the IP of the virtual machine. I logged in. You can see you can create a new notebook or run an existing one. For example, this. Okay. This Jupyter Notebook is used to analyze Mary's image, this one with Python. And I have concluded my presentation. So if you have any question, you can ask, please.
Thank you, Massimo. There were some questions related to what you were showing just before we stopped while you were charging Gbox. So Sahar was asking, can I download for Sentinel-2 data? And instead of downloading them in my local PC, is there any API for downloading directly in my notebook?
As I told before, you can download your dataset, but the Copernicus dataset has already within the virtual machine. So in principle, it's not necessary to download them. Even if for some dataset like Sentinel-1, only the most recent are ready for the use. The other oldest is necessary to make an order in the archive. Sorry, I cannot see the question. What is the author?
It was yes. It was if it was possible, if there is any API, but I think you
API for download, yes, exists API. In this case, there is an API for download the data from CreoDias service provider. Also with Python, yes. The answer is yes.
I don't know, Sahar, if these are the answers you were looking for. In case, please comment on the chat. In the meantime, Alberto asked 2 questions. The first one is for the fixing of the stable points, is there any database suggesting them, or are they automatically fixed once we define our area of interest? This is the first.
No, automatically is not possible, but the indications can be the point should be inside land, not too near to the border of the image, and over a high coherent and stable area, for example, urban area.
Okay, and the second one is on the SBUS results files are available time series containing the ground deformation measured along the investigated period?
Yes, in the file is one, the big file. There is, I show you what is present inside this file. In our portal, there is a knowledge base you can access. Okay. There is a user manual, which all the information about the parameters and it's also the description of the files, the results, and it is the format for SBUS time series file, and you can see all the field of the comma separated value files. For example, the coordinates, coordinates, deformation velocity map for each pixel in centimeter per year, and deformation time series centimeter. The accuracy is about a few millimeters. For the velocity maps is about 2 millimeters per year, and for deformation 4 or 5 millimeters.
Okay, thank you. And Sahar thanks you for the answers before and ask how is it possible to call the API in the virtual Jupyter Hub?
Yes, the provides OpenSearch API and OData API are two system. Okay. And no, sorry, not this. Sì, Python, questo. This is a manual, and they are using get post request or that API is that, and it is some code, example of code. And there is all documentation online, and if you are interested in the Gbox, we can provide this documentation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Massimo. If you have other questions, please write them in the chat. In the meantime, I'm going very quickly to share how to access the NOR portal and the NOR portfolio. So I will share my screen. Okay. So if you want to access the NOR portal, you need to go to the webpage nor-discover.org, and you will be redirected to the Network of Resources main page, where you have some useful information if you go down about the Network of Resources initiative and all the projects and services available through the Network of Resources. You can go to different pages. On the news, you have news about new services and providers onboarded to the NOR. Inside the outreach page, there is a list of all the previous webinars that we had. So you can find also this video of today once it is published. And by going to the portfolio page, you can access, by clicking here, the NOR portfolio with all the different providers and services available through the NOR. You can search with a text search, you have some filters, or you can just scroll down the page until you find what you're looking for. Let's say we want to check for EARTHCONSOLE. We have some details about the services, the collections inside the EARTHCONSOLE, the provider help desk link. This is something that we always advise you to do, as Maddalena said. So if it's really important that if you are not sure about the services that you want to request, please contact the provider help desk to know if the services you want to request through the Network of Resources are the ones that you are looking for your project. And then by going to the pricing wizard, you will be redirected to a form that you need to complete if you want to ask for a sponsorship. First of all, you need to select the project type. There are 4 different project types. Just bear in mind that commercial projects are not eligible for sponsorship. So let's say we are working on a research project. We can here select what we want to ask for with the tick box, and we can change the number of units and the duration. Then at the bottom of the page, you will have an overview of what you are requesting and 2 different options. The first one is directly to go to the provider website and ask the provider for these services, or if you want to ask ESA for sponsorship, you can go to the second section. You need to select if you're working on an ESA project or not. In this case, let's say we are not working on an ESA project, and if you want or not to co-fund the cost. Just remind that the eligibility criteria are that for non-ESA project, if you're working on an ESA project, you need to have an ESA technical officer and an ESA contract number. If you're not working on an ESA project, the maximum amount that is that you can have for a sponsorship is 5,000 euros. Then, if you go over 5,000 euros, you need to co-fund the cost. Let's say we are not co-funding the cost, and then we click Ask ESA for sponsorship. we will be redirected to the to the form itself, where we need to put the project title, our name as project coordinator, work category, and an official email address. It is important, it must be the organization email address. We cannot accept personal email addresses. Then the project organization name, country, the project organization web page, address, and then you can fill out all the different sections related to the project itself, starting from the project objectives, so which are the goals that you want to achieve with your project, the implementation methodology that you are going to use to reach these goals, the expected results, and then the justification for selected services and provider. This is why we ask you to contact first the provider help desk, because we really want to see why you decided to ask for specific services for your project. So we need to understand why these services are helpful for your project and so on. And the description of work within the cloud environment. As I said at the beginning, the network of resources is an ESA initiative aiming to bring users to data and not the contrary. So it means that you need to work within the cloud environment and not locally. So this is why we want to see the description of the work you want to do within the cloud environment. And the geographical area of interest of the project. If you are working over a specific city or multiple cities, country, and so on. Then the last things that you need to do is to say if it's the first time or not that you have applied for a NOR sponsorship. If it's not the first time, it will be asked to you to also state the previous NOR sponsoring request ID. And if you are working on an ESA project, we want to see also the ESA technical officer assigned to your project and the official ESA contract number. Then you need to state the date of submission of the set of slides with the month and year. The set of slides is a set of PowerPoint or PowerPoint-like slides, 4 to 5, where you describe why the services you requested through the network of resources were helpful for your project. We don't want to see the results. This is not the main goal of the set of slides. We want to see why and how the resources were helpful for your project. Then you can or cannot sign up for the NOR newsletter, and you must accept the ESA privacy policy. Once you have done all of this, you can export the sponsoring request. It will create a PDF. You download the PDF, sign it, and if you're working on an ESA project, you need to have it signed also by the ESA technical officer, and you email it to nor-sponsorship-request@esa.int. Then it will start the procedure of evaluation of your sponsorship request that might take around 6 working days, more or less. It might depend from, let's say, if we need more information or not, but in that case you will be contacted again. So this ends, let's say, the part of the sponsorship request. Since we are already after 2, I see that Maddalena provided to you the email address where you can ask more information if you need. You can also contact us to the email address nor@esa.int if you need any information. And I want to thank again Maddalena and Massimo for the presentation and all the participants. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today and for your availability today. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.